Hello, my name's Mark. For ages now, my children have been on at me about having to go and making a YouTube video. So I've tidied up the workshop, and I thought I'd give it a try. So please don't be too hard on me on the comments. It is my first go. I'm not really into SketchUp or anything, so I haven't got a fancy drawing to show you. It's just a simple birch ply desk which is screwed to the wall. There's a shelf underneath which takes the Xbox controller and the screen and the keyboard and the other bits and pieces. Enough room on the top for that. There's a gap, it doesn't go quite into the corner, so there's a gap down the back so the plug and all the cables can be dropped down. Okay, so I'll put the birch ply on the trestles. Before I make any cuts, I'm going to just cut the edge off just to get a nice clean edge with the track saw. Right, I've cut down the desk to the width. It's 700 across. I've marked out, I don't know if you can see those, two 45 degree lines for it to fit into the corner. I'll cut them off in a minute. I've left it deliberately to 10mm too big on each end, so that as it goes against the wall, it will give it a scribing allowance. The two walls are bound up to be perfectly square. I'm going to cut the back off when we get to the point. If you see that, you get to the point, the back point here, to allow the plugs to drop down the back. The shelf is there that's going to hang underneath the desk, which when I've scribed this to the wall, I use that as a template to cut that. Okay, I've cut that one edge at a 45. I've got that one set up with a track saw ready to go. If you haven't got a track saw and you want to do something similar to this, if you just get a normal circular saw, like just a basic normal circular saw, if you just clamp a straight edge to the ply and run that edge of the saw down the straight edge, it works just the same for getting a nice straight cut. Okay, so that's the top of the desk there. That's the shelf that goes underneath. So they separate when it's up, sort of a bit like that. Well, sort of 100mm gap between the two. So I'm going to cut this down now to make the two wall battens that screw to the wall, and then there's a central divider which goes between the two in the middle. So I'll cut it to rough length on the chop saw and then rip it down on the table saw, because that'd probably be the easiest way to do it. You can sort of see how it comes together now. So you've got these two battens here which screw to the wall for it to be fixed to, one on each side. That's the underneath shelf. That's where I think the Xbox controller and stuff is going to fit in under these. There's going to be this middle panel, middle support here to give the desk a bit of support. And to separate the compartments, so one can be for the controls, the other one can just be for any old junk they want to throw in there. That's the top. So I've cut these, so I'm going to cut the back of this point off, the plugs and stuff to be dropped down the back. Okay, so this is the bottom shelf. So that's I've marked the centre line of it there. I've come away 9mm because these are 18. So then I'm going to put that to that line where I want the shelf, and use that to reference the biscuit kit. I'm going to put some biscuits in there just to help with good positioning for gluing it all up and holding it all together. So if I reference off that line, then when I fold that up like that, that then sits dead centre. So I'll clamp that in position there. just reference the biscuit cutter off the front edge, so I'll line that edge up with that edge. So if you put some biscuits in the holes, yeah, well, it works okay. I'll repeat this. I'll repeat the same thing on the top then, and then we're ready to start installing. Okay, this is the room where it's going to go. I've set a laser up over there to get 2 level lines into the corner. I think you can see them. So get these battens then fixed to the wall to hold it up. Then we can drop the top on and see how well it fits, and then start scribing it in. Okay, I'll get these fixed on and then I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, I've got the battens screwed to the wall level, so we'll offer the top up to see what it looks like. It's not too bad actually. So when I made it, I allowed the 10mm too much. So to scribe it to the wall, obviously I want to cut 10mm off both sides to get nice and tight to the wall. I mean, you could use a compass at a 10mm or one of those scribing tools, but I've just got a bit of 9mm ply here and thickness of the pencil. So I just put that on there like that. Run that along. And same on the other side. When I screwed that to the wall, the screws on the screw heads popped on the thing, but I'll have to fill that in a minute and make that good. Because you pull a batten really tight and then it's just pop the screw head. So I also want to mark. That up, so I want to cut that. It'll come in about 100mm or so. So now the cables to feed up. Okay, I'll take that back to the workshop and cut that. I think it'd be easier to do that than make a load of meshing and then spend half an hour clearing all the mess up. If we could take it back, cut it, and then bring it back in and see what it fits like. Okay, I've got it back to the workshop. I've put the track down it, and it's not, obviously it's not a straight line because it goes in and out, obviously as the wall goes in and out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is cut, I think half of it with down, half the way down with the track saw, and then move the track. I think I can cut the other half. I could do it with a jigsaw, which I could follow the line easier, but you get a bit more break out of the jigsaw, I wouldn't get such a neat line. So I think the track saw would be the best bet. Okay, so I've cut it to the lines. That's pretty good fit actually. So I'll take it back and use this one as a template to cut the underneath shelf, because it's going to be the same. It's only down the wall 100mm, so it should be pretty much the same. And it's pretty much ready for fitting. Well, I need to give it a sand up, round the edges off, ready for fitting then. Okay, if anyone's wondering why I'm wearing a hat indoors, well, one thing, it's freezing cold in my workshop. The other thing is because of the COVID, I had to let the wife cut my hair, so best keep a hat on. Okay, so the shelf and the top now ready for fitting. So I'm just going to give it a final sand up. I'm going to sand these edges up, get them nice and smooth. bring, because that's really the best bit of the birch ply, the nice end grain. I've just got a little round over bit in the router, which I'm just going to not really round it, but just take the sharp edge off it, so it's nice smooth to touch. I've just put the glue in these for the biscuits to glue the thing together. Okay, just going to drop the top on now. I'm going to glue it up here. And then it can be screwed up underneath here. I'll just put a clamp on, leave it over, leave it for a couple of hours, get the glue dry. And then we can screw it up underneath here, just hold it nice and firm. Okay, just give the glue a bit of a wipe out under there. Yeah. So it's about as far as you can go for now. So once the glue's dry and stuck together, we can just put a couple of screws up underneath there just to make sure it can't come forward, and then it's just give it a coat of wax or something to finish it off, and we'll be there. Okay, I've given it a couple of coats of this Osmo wax oil. I think it's brought it up quite nice. It brings out the end grain in the birch ply quite nice, and it's pretty hard wearing. I just ragged it on and waited about 10 minutes and then wiped it off with a dry cloth. Congratulations if you made it this far in watching my first attempt at YouTube. I'm planning on trying again, so please subscribe and watch what else I produce. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thank you.